So I'm just gonna mention my phone case on this channel because I feel like you guys would like it, but I'm just obsessed with it. I mentioned it on my other channel in my thrift haul. I just can't stop talking about it, so look at my phone case, guys. If any of you know where this is from, you are awesome. But it's Stephen Gamble's artwork from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's literally my favorite artist, and I'm so excited about this phone case. I actually customized it on caseable.com, so I just thought I'd share because it's awesome. And you can literally pick any picture you want to put on a phone case, so I'll have a link to it down below. I don't even know if you guys care about that kind of stuff. So today we're going to be talking about Scream, and you know, it's funny because I was planning on not really liking this movie and kind of critiquing it and having things to say about it. I eat my words. I don't have a lot of bad things to say. This movie is so good. I can't even tell you guys. I love this movie. I had actually seen it once, kind of, in my English class, my first semester of college, way back in the day. And so that was 5 years ago, and so I don't remember a lot about it, but I remembered some things. Like when I rewatched it now, some things felt familiar, but I hadn't really cared about it then. And the reason why I watched it in my class is because something I'm going to ask you guys. There's kind of debate about whether this is a horror or a comedy. I think it's both. It can be, you know, classified as both. My teacher at the time was convinced it was comedy, and other people in the class were convinced it's horror, and I think it really depends on the person. For me, it's more comedy than horror. That's just because I'm not as sensitive to, you know, most horror aspects, just because I've seen so many horror movies at this point. And this movie was actually sent like 9 times to the rating panel, I don't know, the MPAA rating panel, because there was, you know, they wanted it to be NC-17, and they wanted him to take out, Wes Craven that is, the director, wanted him to take out a bunch of stuff, a lot of the gore, and he's told them to look at it as a comedy, not a horror, and that's why it was able to get the R rating that it has. So you tell me your opinion. Is this a comedy or horror or both? A black comedy? What do you think? The reason why I love this movie so much is I love horror movies that poke fun at horror movies, and Cabin in the Woods is one of them, and Scream is one of them, and I don't know of many others that do that, because, you know, a lot of horror movies are so over the top, and, you know, it's so funny to watch them go through all these rules of the horror movie and then be living in one themselves. That's why I love Scream. It's because it's ironic and it has a sense of humor as a movie, and I love that, and I get that sense of humor. Even as a horror fan, I'm not offended by this kind of movie. I think it's hilarious. You know, Cabin in the Woods kind of did something similar, but that was more of an homage to horror, not so much poking fun at it, but it was, you know, symbolism for horror people, horror actors, things like that, with the movies. But Scream was completely just making fun of it, and it did a great job in the process of being a horror movie, I think. It's a great slasher movie. The scare factor, obviously it's not really there, for me anyway. It's not that scary. It's definitely comical. You know, the storyline's great. I love it. And I don't know, there's just something humorous about this movie when you think about it, and I really love it. It has Matthew Lillard in it, and to me, that's reason enough to watch it. What I also liked about this movie is it was released 5 days before December, and the reason why they did that is because most family movies come out in the holiday times, because sometimes that's a family tradition for some families that they go and watch a movie, either like Christmas Day or the day before, if it's open. I don't know. I've never had that tradition, but they wanted to cater to the horror lovers and the horror families, and they released it around Christmas time, and it actually didn't do that well. It only earned like 6 million in the first week, and so they thought it was going to be a flop. But then obviously word of mouth, that's the best way to advertise, and so many people talked about it, and it became the huge franchise that it is today with a million sequels as well. So it actually won MTV's Movie Award for Best Picture in 1997. There was also a fun little trivia that I have to read to you because there's no way I'm gonna like remember it for the sake of to just talk to you. Okay, so the boyfriend in Psycho is named Samuel Loomis. Samuel Loomis was the doctor in Halloween, and in Scream the teens are watching Halloween in that party scene. And in Halloween H2O, 20 years later is the name of the movie, the teens are watching Scream 2. So I think it's funny how it's all like interconnected. And Wes Craven also did Nightmare on Elm Street, and so that's my next review, which I think is pretty funny that I watched like 2 movies back to back that are both by Wes Craven. He's awesome. I love his movies. And he actually did, there was a reference to Freddy in this movie. It's the janitor, and he's known as Fred, which I thought was funny, and he's wearing a green and red sweater, or shirt, sorry. And I love when directors do that, where they show other movies that they've done in other movies. I don't, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like in Halloween, she's watching The Thing, which I think is funny because John Carpenter did both those movies. So it's like self-promoting in a way, but totally appropriate. Nothing like shoving down your throat or anything, but I think it's ironic and funny. So basically this movie is about a serial killer named Ghostface, so that's like the dubbed name of him. And there's speculation to who it is. Sometimes you think it's the boyfriend of the main character, and sometimes you think it's like the principal, not the principal, but the cop, and you know, they point clues to different people who it could be, as a normal like scary movie would. And then, spoiler alert, obviously it ends up being the boyfriend and his friend, I forgot his name, Matthew Lillard. So we know it ends up being them, and I don't know. I love the ending of this, especially with like the movie guy Randy, who's watching Halloween, and he's like, turn around, Jamie, turn around, because he's talking to Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. And what's ironic is what I read online as well, is that the actor's name is Jamie. And if you've seen that scene, you know that the killer is right behind him, and he's saying, turn around, Jamie, to the movie, but his name's Jamie and the guy's right behind him. So I thought that was pretty funny as well. It's like an inside joke on the set, but I see the humor. So all around, this movie's just really funny and really, really entertaining, especially if you have like a group of friends or something to sit down and have a movie night with, eat some popcorn, some pizza, whatever. Train. Went out. Anyway, what do you guys think about this movie? Do you find it to be funny or scary? Because I know some people are scared by this movie. Pepe, come here. But let me know what you thought about this movie down below in the comments. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.